Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to all of you for your testimony here today. A lot of questions have been asked and answered over the course of this hearing, many of them that I wanted to ask, so thank you for answering those questions. Although I just want to say I want to concur with, I think, is the overwhelming sentiment of everybody on this committee that we need to do a whole lot more when it comes to broadband internet in rural areas, and connected. Michigan is also a very rural state as well, so we want to continue to work closely with you, and I'm pleased to have joined with the chairman, Chairman Wicker, on the mapping bill that was introduced today, so we can base this on good data, which is incredibly important. My question, though, first question was really a follow-up on a question I think Senator Thune asked related to vehicles. And you know, as the nation moves forward with increasingly connected vehicles and with autonomy becoming a major feature of transforming mobility generally, not just the auto industry, but mobility in a dramatic way, I'm concerned that if we allow unlicensed Wi-Fi to operate in some of the channels that these autos are going to be relying on, that could be problematic. And I think a question that was asked of you, Chairman Pai, was related to the spectrum reserved for auto safety in the 5.9 gigahertz, and I believe your answer was it's not being used very widely. I want to respectfully disagree and show you this map here, which is basically connected vehicle deployment locations, both ones that are operational now and will be coming online very quickly. And Mr. Chairman, without objection, I'd like to enter this map into the record, if I may, on deployment. And if you can't see it from where you're standing, although you can see the colored areas, I'm sure,
yes.
You can see that there is quite a bit going on. You are not aware of all this going on, or want to kind of elaborate on your answer that you gave earlier?
Sure, Senator, and my fellow commissioners, Rosen, Ursula, and O'Reilly have talked about this a lot, but I think it is fair to say that DSRC has not progressed as people would have anticipated in 1997 when the FCC first opened the door to this technology. And currently, there is not a single automaker, with the exception of one, that is looking to pursue this into the future. And secondly, in the meantime, a lot of the automakers have done very interesting work on cellular vehicle to everything, CV to X. I saw a demonstration of that just last week by Ford, and part of the issue is, from our perspective at least, we can't move forward with other automotive safety technologies like CV to X unless we have a conversation. And it could well be one of the things I want to tee up is, should we stick with the current system, which is a DSRC based? Should we open it up to other technologies like CV to X? Should we think about Wi-Fi? But we can't get to the right answer if we never even ask the right questions. And that's part of my concern here.
Well, I guess the question is, you appreciate, I hope, the importance of making sure that we have the ability for connected vehicles, whatever technology may be, so we can be technology neutral, but understand that the safety impact on travel is dramatic, and we want to make sure that our auto companies are able to pursue that. So you're committed to doing that and trying to have tests that are independent tests that can look at whether or not these technologies are compatible. Is that an accurate statement?
Well, with respect to the first question, yes, Senator. I mean, I've long shared the view that spectrum is important for automotive industry. In fact, under my leadership in my first year in office, we allocated 4 gigahertz of spectrum from 77 to 81 gigahertz for vehicular radar, recognizing this is an important thing. With respect to the second, however, testing, we've already done phase 1 of the testing. Phases 2 and 3 are reliant on the Department of Transportation, so I can't answer for them as to what the testing protocols or timing would be.
But it would be a 3-phase test to support. Mr. Rosen-Warsaw, would you like to comment on this as well? We had some conversations about it yesterday.
Sure,
but if you could
absolutely.
elaborate on the record, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I agree with the chairman that DSRC technology, which has been around for 20 years, is not really on the roadway. So we have an opportunity to look at the more modern technologies that the auto industry is bringing forward with CV2X, simultaneously ask questions about unlicensed spectrum. I have some optimism. We're going to find space in our skies to do all these good things. We could do it together and prevent car crashes. So I agree with the chairman to the with respect to his efforts to try to start a new proceeding on just this issue.
The question for you as well. Across Michigan, the educational broadband service has been successfully used to provide connectivity to communities who otherwise would not have broadband access. I think you're familiar with that. For example, Northern Michigan University serves over 11,000 students and families in over 51 Michigan Upper Peninsula communities right now. And the university is on track to expand its service by 2020 to 114 underserved and unserved communities. The FCC appears to be moving in the direction of auctioning off EBS frequencies and removing education requirement for use of the band. My question for you, ma'am, is can you describe the potential problems that would be caused by auctioning off the EBS to the highest bidder?
Sure. EBS spectrum was first developed during the Kennedy administration. Education has been in its DNA from the start. And I've met with some of those folks from the Upper Peninsula. They're doing some really interesting things with these airwaves. It would be a shame if the FCC took education out of the 2.5 gigahertz band and cut those entities off. I think we need to be a whole lot more creative about how we can keep education in this band, because I think there's a lot of good we can do.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.